Let's talk money. We'll see if we can give away that link 3 before the end of the show today. Mary Holm, our personal finance expert, is here. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Jesse.
You created a fun little competition for our listeners a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
How was the response?
It was pretty good, actually. Good numbers. I didn't actually even count up the exact number. But the thing was, today when I was getting ready to talk to you, I had another topic in mind, and I was going to, at the end, just say, and here are the 5 winners. But I was looking through all the entries, and I thought, gosh, I want to talk about this one. I want to talk about that one.
Yeah, cool.
And so we've turned it into just a whole session about all these different people's entries. For people who didn't hear it last time, people had to say in 30 words or less why they wanted to win copies of my 2 books to give away at Christmas time. And for that reason, I disqualified quite a few people who said they wanted it to give it to themselves.
Yeah.
They said, nah, that's not the Christmas spirit. But the most common theme coming through really was parents wanting to help their children from teenagers on up, and occasionally younger. But also quite a few adult children wanting to help their parents, which is quite interesting.
You have to be a bit careful probably giving your parent a book on financial advice.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes, well, yeah.
Not that you don't know what you're doing, Dad, but have a read of this.
Yes, because I want my inheritance to be a bit bigger, maybe. But and then there were quite a few worrying about their partners, quite a few who, their male or female partner or whatever was not doing quite as well as they hoped. So I thought, look, there's so many I wanted to talk about that I thought maybe you and I could just go through some of the entries and chat a bit about them. At the end, we'll give the 5 people who've won and their entries.
Okay, so just because you hear your entry doesn't mean you've won.
No. You could say these people are the runners-up, I suppose we should say.
The highly commended.
The highly commended, yes.
Special mention. Okay, well, this first one comes from Sonia, and it's on the theme of spending too much. There once was a silly girl who got a car loan that now makes her hurl. She won some books by Mary Holm, and now that car loan is all gone.
Yes, so that was rather good.
Yeah.
And there's another one on similar lines from Nerily, who said, "To my dear husband, hey, big spender, spend a little time with Mary. She would tell you what's on my mind." So Nerily's obviously worried that her husband is spending a bit too much. And so there's not a lot to say about these people. I suppose the one with the car loan, it's really ideal that you buy another car save for it first. And of course you can't always, because sometimes cars unexpectedly break down and aren't fixable. And then you do have to borrow money, but try and get it at as low an interest as possible and pay it off as fast as possible. And then if you can, build up an emergency fund so that next time the car breaks down, you can because people just spend a lot of money, waste a lot of money on interest on those.
You're going to spend enough on your car anyway, let alone paying interest rates.
Yeah, it's awful.
We hear a lot about spending too much, but as you sometimes point out, Mary, some people need help because they spend too little. This entry from Suzanne, who? My 92-year-old mother. Why? She is very comfortable financially after years of saving. Her 50-year-old bathroom needs replacing, and she needs to learn how to spend.
Yes, at 92. Well, there's that old dog saying, but we don't necessarily buy it around here. You can teach a 92-year-old mum new tricks. A 50-year-old bathroom. Now, I personally think a lot of people do up their houses way too often. I don't think you need to do up your bathroom every 10 years, but 50 years, perhaps, yes. So here's hoping Suzanne's mum is listening and decides, yes, she's going to get a new bathroom. So that was... And then we had a few people who wrote about home buyers, people trying to buy homes and how they're getting into despair over it. And one that I noticed was from a woman called Helen, who said, "What a fabulous gift for my son, who is disillusioned about purchasing a home with his low-paying job. But he's a great saver and trying very hard to succeed." So that one sort of touched my heart a bit. I mean, I think, there is a little bit of new hope coming for home buyers, because first-time buyers, because house prices are actually falling a fair bit. And I heard one economist today saying they could go down 20%, which is a big drop.
Yeah.
And so
I
Helen's
saw
son...
some analysis on the amount of houses that have been built in the last few years compared to how many they thought we needed. And
Yes.
it might even be the case where there's oversupply in places like Auckland's.
Which is only going to help bring the prices down, which I think is great. You know, I know not everyone wants house prices to go down, but I do overall. And so Helen's son, I hope, hang in there and keep your good saving habits.
A couple of messages from people complaining about acquaintances or family members handling money badly. My parents make bad financial decisions, says this person. I try and help by sharing information from your podcast, but they just don't trust a 24-year-old. She's probably referring to herself, not to you there, Mary.
I think, yes,
that was rude of me, wasn't it? However, they would trust your book. Oh, there we go.
Yes, yeah. And isn't that an interesting one that people, we can sometimes write off the wisdom of younger people. All of us older people think that we know a lot more than they do, but that's not always true. And so here's a 24-year-old who sounds as though she is more financially savvy than her parents. So don't write off the young ones, everybody. And then Kerry also wrote one about handling money badly. She said, I'd love to give these books to my husband, who fails to attend our monthly finance meetings. 12 apologies in 12 months. Aww. He needs help, knowledge and inspiration. And yes, come on, Kerry's husband. If your partner is trying to get together with you to discuss finances once a month, you really ought to show, I think, if you want to keep your marriage going. Yes.
Here's one on the theme of investing badly. Judith says, I would give the books to my two grandsons, 21 and 19, who have been investing in Bitcoin. The eldest is interested in buying a house.
Yeah, at 21, that's interesting that he's already looking at buying a house. Bitcoin...
Should we have a look at the Bitcoin price over the last...
Yes.
I'll pull up the 6-month chart.
Yeah.
Down 40%.
Yes, it's awfully volatile. And some of the other cryptocurrencies have absolutely crashed to nothing.
Over the past year, down 68%.
Yes.
It was all looking pretty good for a while there. You looked at the graph and it was just going up, up, up. And you think, well, I can see what's happening here. It's going to go up forever.
Yeah, and that's perhaps what Judith's grandson...
I get too much schadenfreude around Bitcoin, Mary. You've got to stop me. I get a bit smug when it starts to crash.
Well, look, and it may well go up again, but just be aware, everybody, that when you're 21 and you're saving for a house, I don't suppose it matters much because you can put off the house purchase, but it's not a very... It's very dodgy. Yeah. Not for real savers, I would say. For speculators. Yes.
Okay. You got one from Lynette there?
Yeah, I've got a couple from parents under pressure, I've called this section. Lynette says, for my son and girlfriend, we are retired, save, pay cash, bike, cook, second-hand, grow veg. They are employed, cheap rent with parents, takeaways, pets, home deliveries, drive mum's car.
Oh my gosh.
So this couple's watching the young ones living with them, who are splashing out a lot more than their parents are, and it's annoying them.
It's a good life, eh? Live with your parents, get your food cooked for you, borrow mum's car when you need it.
Takeaways and all of that.
Yeah.
Lynette might have to start putting a foot down a bit on that one, I think, perhaps.
Michelle's in touch. She'd like a book each for Ruby and Naomi. I'll probably give too many names there. We're going to give away who this is anyway. She would like them to become financially independent and fledge before their parents become too old and too poor to travel.
Yes, so another couple of parents who've got children who they think that they'd quite like perhaps to get on out of the house and making their own way financially, which is quite a common story, of course.
Yeah.
Then I've got a couple on restoring family harmony. So Sue said, last week our son, 33, was outraged. Why didn't you teach me how to save? Your book will make amends for this flagrant parenting botch up. So she's feeling guilty. Her son's making her feel guilty. And
Yeah, Paddy says he'd give these books to his kids. They're 16 and 12 and would read them together. He says, my parents never talked to me about money and I really missed out.
Yeah, so that's the idea of parents sort of helping to educate their kids. We got a couple that had the theme in common was that they knew people who were bad borrowers. So one of them, Lanier, says, lent millennial workmate rich enough, which is one of my books that we're going to be giving away. It's MIA, missing in action. Gifting me a replacement avoids awkward lunchtime glances over her homemade sandwiches. Instead, I can be a richer me with a richer you, which is the name of my other book. So she's got someone who's borrowed and hasn't returned. And Jessie, I think you've got another one.
Yeah. By the way, if you've just tuned in, Mary Holm, our personal finance expert, is in. She ran a little competition to give her books away, and these are the entries. This one from Connor. Bought your book about 2 years ago and loved it. My sister borrowed it a year and a half ago and has not returned it yet. These would be for her.
Yes. So we've got two book borrowers borrowing books and not returning them. Is not on, is it?
But most people just stop lending their books after a while. They learn that they actually don't come back.
Or you write in your diary 6 months hence.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's good.
But yeah, it's not on. Now the next one I thought was quite fun. From a guy called Willem, who says, my Swedish wife needs your books. We migrated to New Zealand in 2015. Love it. Became citizens. But she thinks the government will take care of it all. And he adds, thanks, Willem, her Dutch husband to whom she does not listen. So I'm thinking possibly in Holland, where he comes from, the government doesn't take care of retired people quite as much as in Sweden, where his wife comes from. And she does have to know that while we've got New Zealand Super and it's pretty good, it's not enough for most people, really. Yeah.
Here's some anonymous ones that have come in. To my beautiful mum, who's going through a breakup and doesn't have much financial knowledge. It'll help her get her finances in order and protect her retirement. Yeah, that's actually tragic in more ways than one, where a relationship breaks up, because all that kind of shared wealth and all that they've achieved together as a financial couple suddenly gets split, often nastily, and it's back to square one for at least one of them.
Yes, it's awful. It's awful. That she and this other one, I actually say we keep them anonymous. We just decided not to name them on the radio. And the other one, so that one you just read, she was talking about her mum. And the next one is talking about her daughter. My daughter lost interest in her financial well-being after a bad breakup with her partner, who was avaricious. I would like to gift her your books to encourage her. So yes, those are two sad messages from people who going through breakups, and you've got.
I'm going to have to Google avaricious. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's greedy.
Greedy.
Yes.
Oh yeah, avarice, of course.
Yes.
Tanya says, my daughter is a trainee primary teacher. Teaching isn't highly paid, so she needs to learn the tools to make her money work and then teach the next generation. That's good. What I like about these is each one gives you a bit of a sort of a window into someone's world.
Yes, they do.
The family's
that was
world.
The thing when I was reading them all. I thought, oh gosh, yes, there's all these
hear stories you wouldn't otherwise hear.
Yes, yeah, and it gives you a bit of a cross section of where people are coming from. So yes, I put this one and the next one in a section of helping people beyond family. So the vast majority of people who answered this wanted to give the books to a family member, but there were a couple who said we want to do more than that, and that person, Tanya, is wanting not only for her daughter to read the books, but then teach the next generation, which we've all got to applaud. And then Lorraine said, we donate the books to Gore's Lilliput Libraries. Books are free for people to take and keep or pass on, or return to the original or another Lilliput library. And we all know about these libraries that are all around the country, where people just put books they don't want anymore and you can walk past and pick one up. And I like the idea of my books going into one of those libraries. But yes.
However, we're left with 5 winners now.
Yes, it was hard. It always is hard to choose, isn't it? It really is.
And each one gets a copy of Rich Enough and A Richer You, so 2 books each. And the first goes to Bruce Creedy of Wellington. Well done, Bruce. He's going to deposit them in the work lunchroom library to generate financial discussions between colleagues who range from school leavers to retirement age. And it's a catalyst for each sharing our own personal financial journey.
Yes, which is a lovely idea. I like the idea of the books going into the work lunchroom library. And then we had Sandra Fletcher of Paraparaumu, and she sent a cute one. She says, I'm Taya, I'm 1.5. I couldn't think what to get Dad for Christmas. Grandma told me about your books that could help them save for a purple dress for me. What really got me was the purple dress. I'm glad it's not a pink dress, Jessie, although I'd quite like it not to be purple or orange too. Little girls all the time, they all want to wear pink, and if it's not pink, it's purple or orange.
Yeah.
Go little girls who are wearing green and blue, I say.
Okay. Mary's wearing a very fetching green top today, if you'd like to picture her at home. Sue Goodrich, well done, Sandra. Sue Goodrich of Te Awamutu is a financial mentor, and she says, 2 of my clients would receive your books to encourage them that financial literacy should be fun. You inspired me with investment stories of Mr. Gox and Orlando the cat.
Now, when I first read that, I thought, what? And then I remember, do you remember you and I did a session about animals that helped people choose investments?
Yes.
And they would do various little, people would watch how many times their tail wagged or whatever. And 2 of those were Mr. Gox and Orlando. And so Sue was remembering that, which was kind of fun. There was also another financial mentor who entered as well. And I just want to say good on the financial mentors. They do wonderful work and around the country, and they're free.
Great.
Get them through Money Talks. Anybody who's listening who would like some free financial help, go to Money Talks.
Good
and
stuff.
You can get it. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Another winner?
We've got Callum Law of Wellington, and he said, my girlfriend wants a dog. My girlfriend cannot afford a dog. I will give my girlfriend your books so she can learn how to afford a dog. I love that. It's so simple, and it's just,
and constructive and positive. He's trying to help her achieve her goals.
Yes.
And Amanda Jennings of Geraldine wins the poetry section. I'll do my best, Amanda. I would give you a book to my father-in-law who proclaims money is such a bore, but retirement's approaching, my worries encroaching, thus I hope for Holm wisdom and law.
Yes, there were a few poems, and I thought that one was a limerick, and I've got a soft spot for limericks. So brilliant. So thank you so much, everybody, for entering. And you know, I have learnt quite a lot on the way from just reading where people are coming from, so it's neat.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Mary, great session. Thank you.
And the publishers will be sending the winners copies of the books in the next few days.
Love it.